Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Venom issue 28, legacy number 193. This is part 3 of Venom Beyond, written by Donny Cates, Juan Gedeon artist, Jesus Aburtov color artist, VC's Clayton Cowles letterer, covered by Geoff Shaw and Frank Martin. Assistant editor was Donny Cates, Devin Lewis, editor, Nick Lowe, executive editor. That cover is really cool, even though Venom looks a little fat and has kind of big jugs. Overall, the general idea is really cool, and it does show actual peril and adventure, so really good cover for once. Not just a regular boring pinup. So Codex is trying to get information on who Virus is and where he comes from, and they're starting to figure out that he's not from this universe. And we do learn his identity, and it's not particularly surprising. You could kind of figure it out if you read a couple issues in one of the annuals. Meanwhile, Eddie is making some new friends. It turns out I was wrong, and this is not the Ultimates universe. This is a different one. The Maker went to the Ultimates universe where he's from, and Eddie and Dylan ended up in some smiled future alternate universe, and we learn what happened to the Eddie Brock of this world and who became Venom. We also meet some others of the Resistance, including Peter Parker, Wade Wilson, and Cletus Cassidy, as well as Andy Benton. And of course there's a big fight with some powerful bad guys, but they're mere copies of the originals, so they're not quite as powerful as the real people. They use an interesting method of escape, and then we find out the big reveal as to who Virus is, and we also learn the secret identity of Codex. Overall, it was a decent installment. There's a fair amount of action. Fight scenes were pretty well done, even though I'm not a fan of this art style at all. I kind of hate this art style. But the artist does have talent. They do understand perspective shots pretty well. A lot of flat panels in this that could have been done a little better, but I don't necessarily hold that against the artist. I think there's enough good perspective shots in here to compensate for that. But the reveals weren't particularly surprising. What I was surprised about was that it was a decent installment. It's not worth $4. It's worth about $2 to me, but as an installment in the storyline, it does progress it very well. You will need to have read the previous issue to get anything out of this. The big reveals won't have any real impact if you haven't read parts 1 and 2, so it's definitely an installment and not a standalone. There are parts of this you would enjoy, but as part of a storyline, it's really going to need to have context for a lot of the plot points to have impact. But overall, I thought it was okay. Paper quality's still garbage because it's Marvel, and again, I hate the art. I think it's amateur hour, but the artist has talent. It's just not a style I like. I don't think it's quite ready for prime time either. There's panels that are very, very good, and then there's some that look really, really lazy. So I don't know if the artist was rushed or if they just need to refine their technique a little more. So I will recommend it, but only if you're going to read the whole Venom Beyond storyline, and almost in a sense the entire series, because otherwise you're going to lose a little bit of the context for the meta story as well as the Venom Beyond storyline. So kind of a middle of the road review. So I know that's not particularly helpful, but that's the best I could give you on this without giving too much away. The storyline is okay, but you're not really going to get a whole lot out of this issue without having read at least part 2. So I'd say get it in trade if you can find it cheap, but back issues, I wouldn't pay more than a couple bucks for this. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, there are links in the description to various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.